handle with people nobody could handle with. That's exactly my situation. I have to handle with the very bad situation, very bad diseases, with the very bad patients, have been everywhere in Mayo Clinic and so unsuccessful, really, these bad guys. And he has this simple puff, 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 and the criminal falls down.
3 shots.
3 shots.
That's all it
Yes,
takes.
puff, puff, puff.
Tell us about the 3 shots. Give us the 3 shots. That's all.
Yes.
We need to know the 3 shots.
I had to find John Wayne solution for biological medicine. And I really found it. It's detoxification, it's rebuild the immune system and the intestine, balance the immune system and rebuild the intestinal system, number 2 shot, and rebuild the organ. We rebuild the organ cell by cell. That's the 3 shots.
Simple.
Building up, detoxifying, and the intestinal system. This is our biggest organ. All the immune responses have to do with the intestinal system.
Now, if you, let's suppose many people in our audience can't afford to come to Switzerland, and some of them are just don't have enough money to, they don't have insurance, or the insurance won't pay for the biological treatment. If you had all the knowledge that you had right now, and you were in an apartment, okay, and you were in the United States somewhere, and there was nobody else around, that you didn't know anyone that could treat you biologically, what would you do? How would you handle it? What's the first thing that you would do in order to try and get yourself well from an autoimmune disease? I realize that some of them are very difficult, and it requires the detox and so forth, but knowing what you know, you have all the knowledge in the world on this particular subject, what would you do? How would you handle it?
If I would be a patient, no money.
No money, you're a patient,
Yes.
you're sick. But there's one thing that you have, which the average sick person doesn't have, is a tremendous knowledge bank. So now you're faced with this problem. I haven't got the money, I can't go to Switzerland, and there's nobody around that even understands this kind of medicine. What am I going to do? What would you do? What's the first thing you would do?
I would say you change your nutrition.
Oh, so it's a diet. You're
It's a
saying
diet.
Special diet. Tell
Yes.
us about the diet,
Yes,
the Rau diet.
Well, the Dr. Rau's diet, you can read in my book, The Swiss Secret. It's a diet which bases on more than 30 years of experience and with really many thousands of patients. And we sold this book 50,000 times. I have no idea to whom they went, no idea.
50,000 copies.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, because it's just one who buys it, he suggests to the others. But now back to the diet.
Let's talk about
Yes,
the diet.
the diet is very simple. We avoid the principal allergens. We make the body alkaline, because autoimmune patients, they are in an inflammatory stage and they are nearly always hyperacid.
Okay. Why are they hyperacid?
Well, first of all, let me finish. They are hyperacid. They have more than 90% of the autoimmune patients, they have a food allergy
Okay.
or intolerance to certain food, and they are toxically loaded. And these 3 things you can address with a change of diet. When I look at 1,000 patients or even more, what are they allergic or intolerant to? Again, John Wayne, 80% are allergic to dairy protein. Because cow dairy nowadays is an industrial product, it's totally changed, and beta-lactoprotein, which is the most frequent allergen worldwide.
Worldwide, this is a problem.
Worldwide, it's a problem. Well, in China less, because they don't eat so much dairy products, but more or less worldwide. And the dairy industry changed the milk so much that it's now no more a healthy nutrient, it's a toxically loaded, hormonally loaded, and high growth factor, which activates the cells also, and highly allergenic food. Therefore, no dairy, cow dairy products, number one. Secondly, what you can do to detoxify the body is take some algae or do green smoothies.
Green smoothies. Okay,
Yeah.
what is a green smoothie?
This is, you put organic or biological vegetables. Green vegetables are the best. And you cut them and you put them in a blender, you know, the high frequency blender.
Yeah.
And at the end you have like a soup, a cold soup, which contains all the fibers in and the whole vegetable.
Now, what kind of
This you
green
can
vegetables?
drink.
So, asparagus or broccoli, or what kind of vegetables would you put in that
You
green
can put
smoothie?
spinach, you
Spinach.
can put parsley, you can put lettuce, then avocado, of course, but it makes it a little bit bitter. And just you have to play with this. You can also put some fruits, but not too many. A little bit apple or banana, then it makes it more tasty, and so.
But now, okay, so
But there are many books. We don't spend too much time with.
but a green smoothie.
A green smoothie.
Now, what about juicing? Lots of people are into juicing. They sell juicers on TV, but what do you think about juicing? Fruit juice, so
Yes.
fresh carrot
Yes.
juice or any of those. Would that fit into the? If somebody could, they're trying to do this at home, would you recommend that,
Yes.
or is it just the green?
When you do juicing, and you said you are in your apartment and you don't have much money, and then what can I do? Well, buy, instead of a juicer, you buy a blender. They are about the same price. And when you do juicing, you press the vegetables or the fruits, and at the end you have a big part which you throw away. But this part contains the fibers, and these fibers you could cut, very little, and so you would have food for your intestinal bacteria, because they eat exactly this, what you would throw away. This is why fruit juices, they don't contain the food for your intestinal good bacteria. And these intestinal bacteria, they are the detoxifier of the body.
Wow.
So they are our helper and saver, the bacteria.
So you're feeding the good guys.
Yes, we are feeding.
Everybody thinks you should eat yogurt to feed.
Oh,
That's what they
don't say
say.
this word, I faint.
Okay, no yogurt. So
no,
yogurt.
Yogurt is even a concentrate of dairy.
Exactly. So
It's even richer in this high allergenic beta-lactoprotein.
than milk?
Yes, than milk, because it's a concentrate.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, who would have ever thought? I mean, I thought yogurt was would be healthier than milk itself, but I guess it's on the same
But
level.
honestly, you should really avoid for several months, you should fully avoid any cow dairy product, except butter, because butter is only the fat part of the cow dairy.
So butter is okay then?
Butter is more or less okay.
More or less. I like
No,
butter.
better than margarine.
Oh, well, that goes without saying. That's a phony product. And now, there's one thing that we didn't touch on, and that I know is part of the diet, and that is sugar.
Wow, sugar.
I had to...
Again, a faint.
What a shame. We'll have cake
Did you
after.
know that sugar, in the last 50 years, the consumption of sugar increased by factor 12 in the United States?
12?
Yes.
In the last 50 years?
Yes, 60 years. And it comes since after war, and it comes due to the sugar drinks. You know, people still drink Fanta and Coke and Pepsi and Sprite and all these drinks which contain a lot of sugar. Well, some they consume the sugar-free, but they have these synthetic substances in.
And what do you think about the synthetic sugar? That'd be aspartame or any of those
Aspartame is neurotoxic.
Neurotoxic. So
yes.
The next time you think about a Diet Coke, then remember it's a neurotoxin. It's toxic to your nerves. I think about Michael J. Fox, and he was a big Coke drinker. I don't know if he still is, or Diet Coke, but and he's got MS or Parkinson's, I think. So you talked today about how to get rid of Parkinson's or MS. This is amazing biological medicine, because all the chronic diseases that we see constantly, and rich and famous people have them as well, and at the clinic, you found the solution to it. Mm-hmm. So what? Yeah. And tell me, what is the solution?
The solution?
Yes.
Detoxification. It's always the same.
It's always the same.
John Wayne, buff, buff, buff.
Exactly.
You know, it's detoxification. Mm-hmm. Of course, we can look what toxins load your body. Your body. It's not always the same. It's
yes.
individualized, of course.
Yes.
But we have very sophisticated tools to analyze what toxic load you have. And then, again, intestinal system, because the intestines are related with the normal functioning T lymph cells. 80 to 90% of our immune cells, they live in the intestinal wall. So if the intestines are irritated...
The small intestines? 80 to 90%
yes,
live in the small
Peyer's patches, which is the little lymph nodes, but there are so many that it is 80% of the lymph cells, of the immune cells of the body.
Amazing, mm-hmm. Isn't it? And it all sits right here,
yes.
right in your gut. And it's like all the problems, all the autoimmune problems and the chronic disease type problems start in the gut. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting that what you said about children and how up until maybe celiac, right? That people think, well, I was born with this, but that's really Dr. Rau said that is very rare. Really, people develop celiac, and usually the children show up at about 4 years old mm-hmm. or so because?
Well, again, because they have a destroyed intestinal system. So the intestines, they shrink mm-hmm. under the permanent food allergy situation. It destroys the intestines. But this is not a destruction like the house is falling together. No, it is a slow, you do not really notice this process. You only notice when you have lost half of the intestinal surface.
Oh, isn't that amazing? I'd love to keep going here, but Dr. Rau is busy and we don't have all night.
Yeah, but you asked of sugar, and yes. The sugar is really so important. Sugar feeds cancer. Sugar suppresses the immune system because for the metabolization of sugar you need the B vitamins. So it's a B vitamin eater.
It drains your B vitamin.
It drains your vitamin B, which you would need for the nerval function. Then sugar hyperacidifies the body because it produces fermentation. Sugar has to fermentate in the body and it produces acidity. So sugar is the main acid producer in the body, and nowadays patients, they are hyperacid.
And what a surprise that kids seem to get sick right after Halloween. When they get
yes.
They go out and they get all this candy and then they get sick and everybody says, well, then your child has an ear infection. Or a cold, or all those things, and it's, they caught a bug. Well, they didn't catch a bug. They caught Halloween candy, and it just
exactly.
destroyed them.
Exactly, and this changed the milieu, the inner metabolic milieu, to the bed. And the immune cells, they were suppressed by this fermentation acidity.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you again, Dr. Rau. It's been a pleasure, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to speak with you. And thank you for sharing all this information with our audience.
Yes, and one last word. When I look to our patients from international, last year we had patients from 82 countries.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And 80%, we make a statistic, 80% of our patients, they come either back within 2 years, or within 2 years they send another patient. So we live from word of mouth, but why? Because they get better. And we don't have flus and little things and hair loss. No, we have autoimmune diseases, and half of my patients are cancer patients. So we have severe patients. And finally, after many years, they find solutions. Look at your daughter.
Yes, exactly.